Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Hello to one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Sunday to you. And as a very dear friend and fellow content creator would say, thank you for clicking on my channel. Oh, man. Well, I got a heap of stuff to cover today. Well, maybe, maybe not. We'll see how it goes. I'll try to keep a comfortable pace so I don't keep you guys here so long. I would, at least is my intention, to try to bring down that 2 hour and sometimes 3 hour marathon of Royal Sussex and make it something a little shorter than what it's been, but we'll see how it goes. Hello to Nancy Austin, Karen M., Favi Barron. Hello to Joan Garcia. Hi, Karen M., Elaine Parker, Connie Balmer. Hi, Connie Balmer. And Betty Glenn, Joan Commonwealther, Joan Garcia. Welcome. Emerald Derrick, Annie Bennett, Gwendolyn Daniels, Kathy, Karen with a C, and of course, let's see, who else is here? Darlene Anderson. Hi, Darlene. Hello to Francilia Mosley, Susie Q, Shelly L. You know, I was a big fan of Romper Room, and I feel like I'm doing a bit of a Romper Room myself right now. I love it. Mirror, mirror on the wait. Romper, stomper, stomper, do. Tell me who. Oh man. Okay. So without any oh, hello H Night. Did I say hello already? Okay. And TP is here. Very good. And Whoppy Rock. Is that Whoopi? Is that Whoopi Rock one or Whoppy Rock? Whoopi Rock one, right? There's two O's. So Rupee. Roofie. Somebody roofied me. Hello, light side of the moon. And LDSW. Hello. Okay. All right. So we're slowly pouring in here. Very good. Oh, well, I was mostly ready, but it was just a couple of things that I wanted to add to today. And well, anyway, that was the reason for the slight delay. But let me go ahead and do this and this for a little context. And I'll do this for even more context. And slightly some of this for context. All right. I think I got as much context as we need. And don't forget, of course, even though it is post Thanksgiving, post Black Friday, there's always going to be a little messy, just a little bit, just enough to say we did, right? Okay, very good. All right, over here. And let's start off with this. I am dyslexic. Listen to me. I am still a dyslexic. I can't even say that word. A dyslexic. Oh my goodness, I can't say it. I'm still the dyslexic boy who never believed I would amount to anything to be honored in this way by the SOAS is beyond any hope I had for myself. Thank you for seeing me. Um, Distinguished figures to be honored at the 2020 winter graduation ceremony. And let me go there so you can see there. Oh, that is our Misan Harriman. Misan Harriman, who not only has, of course, as we know, taken some fantastic photos of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, but he has actually traveled to Africa so that he could document how serious the food shortages are, that there's a famine going on. So he's using his form of art, he's using his medium of photography to help a lot of people and also to earn a good living for himself. There's nothing wrong with that. But so anyway, he is being honored. SOAS is conferring an honorary fellowship of in recognition of Misan's significant contribution as a campaigner for diversity and inclusion, and in his photographic work in representing contemporary protests, including the Black Lives Matter movement, women's rights in Iran, and Extinction Rebellion. Most recently, he is using his camera to help bring attention to the hunger crisis in the Horn of Africa. Wow, that is absolutely wonderful. So, anyway, we definitely want to celebrate and acknowledge Misan Harriman for being recognized and awarded. Um, okay, so you're probably wondering. Okay, let me make sure I get this absolutely right. All right. And okay, student organization account services. An award and prize payment is awarding money to an individual based. Oh, let me open that up so I can see the whole thing. Individuals based on judging criteria. For example, your group holds an essay competition and you want to award the top 3 finalists in cash. So it is a student organization account service. That is what it is based upon. All right, so there you go. Let me see here. All right, there it is. All right, I just want to take one more look at that and then we will move on. Very good. If you guys are not following Misan Harriman, you really should. He has done some amazing work. I'm sitting here. I'm sorry. I'm looking at his photographs and kind of getting myself lost looking at his work. What this man does with a camera is incredible. That's all I can tell you guys. What this man does with a camera is absolutely breathtaking. So we're going to see more of his amazing work in the very near and not so distant future. I can guarantee you that. So, yeah. Yeah, don't do like me. Don't take a look at it right now because you're going to find yourself lost. Wait, we have a 15-month membership? Is that right? You know what? Let me open up my other screen so I can see that for myself. Um, as you guys know, it does not come up on the StreamYard. And this is, as you guys know, this is why I have to open up another screen. Oh my goodness, and I still don't see it. But thank you so much for mentioning that because otherwise I would have totally missed it. All right, excellent. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Connie Balmer. Okay, take that away. Yes. All right. Very good, you guys. So there you have it. Now, Dr. Shola, good Lord, if the Queen had cancer, shouldn't it be left to the family to decide whether or not the information should be made public? Many people lose family to cancer, so can relate. Um, I did. But why lie to the public? She died of old age. Well, okay. The Queen obviously was a public figure. The Queen um, was funded by the public. And I can only speak as an American, um, and my opinion is definitely a bias because Ronald Reagan had a polyp removed and it trended for days. Okay, he had a polyp removed from his nether regions, and that was a huge trend. So, in saying this, I have to say that I believe that it is a matter of public record. If you or I do not have a right to our privacy where certain things concerning life and death is concerned, um, I understand the Queen was above the law, but still, um, upon death, we're all equals in death. And so I don't understand how they could avoid mentioning a cause of death. Whether or not it was cancer of the bone or whatever it was, I honestly, I don't care. At age 96, you have already outlived most people you have ever known. So fine. But the to cloud or cloak this in secrecy, and then obviously someone has leaked the information after the fact. I mean, it's been months now. As much as I hate to say it, it seems as though Lady C, who blurted it out one day, was right. Lady C may have been right about this. Lady C said that she had a malady of the bone, and then finally she said it was cancer. So she kind of him and hawed her way through the entire video that she made, and then finally she came out and said that it was cancer of the bone. She had a bone cancer, a malady of the bone, as she said. Whatever she said, it obviously had an air of truth to it. It doesn't change a whole lot as far as our day is concerned. Everybody's going to go about their business, but I just think that in death, there was an opportunity to help or inform people. The whole point of it is to get a conversation going so that people who may suffer likewise, who can catch any symptoms early or at least be informed about it, would have an opportunity to take action. But by keeping it all secret, and I mean, how many men have had their colons checked for polyps because the president of the United States had one removed. So that is why that would make sense. But yeah, of course, everyone has a right to privacy. Um, but yeah, so I suppose living in a public life like that, that the very last thing that you are obligated to is your privacy about your death. And if that's the case, then so be it. But it would explain a lot. And I guess one reason why they wouldn't want to tell people, uh, a good reason to withhold that information, is because there was always this assertion that the queen was in control, the queen was in charge. And I have been saying for quite some time that I don't believe the queen was fully capable for perhaps that entire last year of her life, and that there were many things occurring around her in which she had no say. Um, so that would explain a lot, I would imagine. I mean, who can be themselves, whatever our true selves are, if you know that you're dying? You know that you're not going to live longer than your mother lived. Her mother lived what, 101, 102. The queen died at age 96. And I was assuming, like a lot of people, oh my goodness, she'll probably live to 110 if she's anything like her mother. Well, obviously she wasn't. So um, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. However, one minute the Daily Mail is having a hernia about how disrespectful the crown is, and the next they're paying for serialization of a book exposing the Queen's secret cancer battle just 12 weeks after her death. And then Omid went on to say, personally, I think unless it came from the palace or Her Majesty the Queen herself, private medical details, which were always fiercely guarded, should remain just that. It should never be okay to make that decision for someone. Well, I'm on the fence about it. On the one hand, the Queen was a public person, and as I said, the standard here in the US is to be as forthcoming as possible when it comes to our commander in chief. However, for the British people, there's a different standard. So if there's an assumption of privacy, even if the taxpayers are subsidizing the lives of the royal family, if there is an assumption of privacy, then so be it. It is just rather strange that this information is coming out now. But I think that when you're dealing with such a large institution, one that seems to have operate in secrecy, this is just one more thing that will cause endless speculation and cause, well, it's going to make a lot of money because this is just a flash in the pan, as they say. This is going to cause other people to write books and speculate about how the queen died, her cause of death. And of course, there's going to be even worse where people are going to say, perhaps the queen's death was hurried along, if you understand what I'm saying, or that they had a particular timing or a window of time for her death. It's nothing we haven't heard about the royal family before. There, of course, was speculation that they set a time for, was it George V's death? That there was a certain timetable they were trying to meet for the morning papers, and that his death was orchestrated more so than a natural occurring event. That is what this will open up the speculations about, is how she died, what manner she died. Did someone ignore her calls for help? All of that is going to happen as a result of this. I promise you. Give it enough time, and there are going to be more and more people coming forward with their theories and hypotheses about how the queen died. So it could all probably have been avoided if they would have just told the truth in the first place. She's having, how did they put it? She has, whatever they were saying, she has mobility issues. And uh, you see what I'm saying? It would just be so much easier to say she has cancer. So many people have cancer. She has cancer. I just, yes, it's always been fiercely private and personal, but that's the queen. She has cancer. So if that was the cause of death, okay. If it wasn't, who cares? But still, they open themselves up for more speculation by not being forthcoming and truthful. That's my point, is that it would be so much easier in the long run. Um, I mean, people are already trying to sort out how she caught the pandemic. People have already speculated about that. And the further we get away from the Queen's funeral, the more emboldened people will become to write books and such about those events, and any connections that they can make, which will become clickbait or bait, that is, and make money. So really, it's none of my business, but that's just my opinion. So while I agree with Omid in saying that, it's private and it should only come from the palace or Her Majesty herself, but we don't know that this wasn't leaked. And there would be a good reason to leak information like this, considering the troubles that they're having right now with this Camilla Gate. With this Camilla Gate situation, we may see drips and drips and drips of information, little briefings about certain things, because it makes a great cover for situations like this. So that may be one way to look at it, is that perhaps they're using this to draw attention away from other things so that the Cambridges will have a very smooth visit to the United States. I'm just saying, I mean, that's a bit of a stretch, but I'm just saying that perhaps this may be the reason why they have decided to allow something like this. I mean, there is that hidden contract with the Daily Fail and the other tabloids. And so why now? Why release that information now on the backdrop of a state dinner, which was a big dud? Why release that information now? So, as I say, it just opens up family for speculation, but maybe that's the point, is to encourage people to speculate about things that are at this point of little or no relevance, so that we're not paying attention to the big picture. And so look at the shiny object over there and stop thinking about the queen consort pinching at this child's sleeve or embracing some child near her, only to examine her hands to make sure that she hasn't caught the cooties or whatever she was doing. So it was a big photo op gone sour. Oh, look how white Angela Levin's racism is. It's the Karen, what is that? The Karengitis. The Karengitis, is that right? Of the highest order. The Karengitis. If she had the courage of her conviction, she would boldly state the real point she is making about Meghan Markle's skin color looking white. But nah, she's a vile, repugnant coward. So that was one of the latest tweets by Dr. Shola in reference to this Angela Levin and Princess Meghan's skin tone. So just so you know, Angela Levin looked at an image of Meghan at an event that took place while she was still living in the UK and still married into that royal family instead of married away from the royal family. And so while being married into that family, she was doing her usual royal duties. And in appearance, from the photos that were posted, her skin tone seemed very pale compared to the California look that she has today. And so, given the fact that there's obviously African blood, the Duchess of Sussex is prone to tanning. And also, there is a factor of, as I demonstrated the other day, I showed a side by side photo of what was released from one news group and what was released from another news group. And there was like this big contrast in skin tone. Meghan has no control over that. You or I would have no control over whether someone edits the image of a person's skin tone lighter or darker. And this is always such an emotional issue, especially in the fashion industry, where there's always these accusations about they're trying to whiten this model's skin tone. They're trying to darken this model's skin tone. They're trying to make this one look this way and that one look the other way. And no one ever asked the models themselves their opinions. Now, I've heard at least one say that is for the photographer and for the magazine to determine. I'm just here to work. So, the implications, of course, is that it appears to insist that if someone is lighter, they're more likely to find work and be accepted. Whereas if someone, it's the whole coloration thing that plays into. And so Angela Levin, I imagine she knew exactly what she was doing. She was hoping to get attention with that tweet, and that was exactly what happened. She suddenly was trending like crazy, and by doing so, maybe she can draw some attention to the book, which of course is not selling like crazy. It's not selling at all, but she has a book about her good girlfriend, Camilla, the Duchess, or I'm sorry, the Queen Consort. So, you know, if my pessimism kicks in, I would say, yeah, that was probably the point, was to draw attention to the non-selling book. But whatever it was, Angela Levin makes herself relevant by inserting her tweets into things that will obviously gain attention and cause her name to trend. And also, she can find work on television or on podcasts and such by making these appearances to which she is paid as a panelist. She doesn't go on these events because she's just trying to be helpful or because she has some kind of preoccupation with Harry. This makes money for her. This makes money for all of them. No one ever just shows up. They're either promoting something that will make money or they are being paid for their appearance. So there's always some type of payoff. So this is why this happens. And the fact that it disparages um, the Duchess of Sussex is of no consequence because um, Mama's got to get paid. Uh, Angela wants to get paid, so that's why. Let me see. Let me take a look at this one right here. GOP will say Queen Elizabeth II didn't die. It it was a double. She currently is alive and working as a Walmart greeter in Omaha, and she wanted to just retire so she could support Trump. I saw that out the corner of my eye, and I'm just like, what? Um, I'm going to catch up with a few of your comments right now. Thank you so much for that. That was hilarious. The royal family has always kept whatever they don't want the public knowing about and release what they want to try to distract the public. Very true, Sonia Johnson. I agree with that. Um, is it a Celia Nelson? It is up to the individual to share what is wrong with him or her. My stepdad's sister never told him she was dying of cancer, and he was the person who supported her through school, etc. Thank you for sharing that. Audrey Teschner has a super sticker. Thank you so much for that. Greatly appreciated. And as always, Audrey, thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Sunday. Oh my goodness, it is Sunday. Happy Sunday to you. Thank you so much for your contribution to Royal Sussex. Hello, Black Queen. All right, I'm scrolling. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker and thank you for being a member and also for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Sunday to you. And Francilia Mosley, yes, Hagatha Christie Levin, Hagatha Levin is going to get her own taste of karma. Joan Commonwealther What is the definition of Karenitis? Karenitis, I guess that's when it's like probably, oh, let me see, Karenitis. It's probably like being a hypochondriac or having any other type of jitis. It's a malady, not a malady of the bones, like Lady C says. I think it's a malady of the brain. Let me see. Angela Levin makes some money somehow, and that's why she's gonna be Karen toward Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. TP, that is so true. It is for the money. Hello, Anastasia Isabella. Oh, that's for someone else. Okay. All right. I think I'm at the very last. Yeah, I'm down here to. Oh, got someone wants to say hello to everyone. There we go. Those are the big hellos. All right, let me move on. Meghan Markle has the most powerful cultural force on her side, Black Twitter. No British tabloid, news organization, or royal family can beat that. Did you all hear that? Meghan Markle has the most powerful cultural force on her side, Black Twitter. I got my fist in the air. Black Twitter. No British tabloid, news organization, or royal family can beat that. And don't you all forget it. Now, obviously, that tweet was from 2020. And over here on the right, the person who I think she retweeted that says, Queen consort Camilla's racist friends and biographer Angela Levin seeks to separate Meghan from her blackness to racially abuse her without Black people defending her. She fails to realize Black Americans have white and Black ancestry. We consider skin folk of all shades skin folk. There you go. Queen Armaid, I love, love, love that comment. So if you're listening to Royal Sussex right now, I take off my hat to you. I think that is so wise, not only to share that and then to follow it up with those very wise words about the Queen Camilla's racist friends. So, yeah, I think that is very powerful, and I'm going to agree with that tenfold. Is that part of the strategy is to separate, to try to create colorism and division within the support network for the Duchess of Sussex, to try to push people away by insinuating that she has lightened her skin or that she's trying to be as white as possible. Um, that is a tactic, and it worked for the 2016 election with the famous phrase, "What do you have to lose?" and "What have the Democrats done for you?" And they get your votes and they disappear. And it's a very subtle but yet persistent mind game that they play, where they want to sow seeds of doubt and create division within the community. And if there are some people who fall for the okey doke, a lot of times that's exactly what happened. Like, my unwavering support for Joe Biden is one born out of practicality. He's just a person like anyone else. He's had his faults, he's made mistakes, but at a time and a place when I needed him to do a certain thing, he was able to do it. So I don't insist that we forget a person's past, but you have to keep your mind in the present. That is the whole point. You have to keep your mind in the present. And so Angela Levin is using those tropes from the past where, and I don't think she really understands, as Queen Armaid was saying, I don't think she understands that the average Black American has white DNA in their blood. And to some degree or another, we all, or should I say, most of us, have that in common. And so to try to separate and divide us when we could live in the same family with the same parents, we can look like our mothers and our fathers, but one sibling is lighter than the other one. One sibling may have red hair and brown skin, and another one may have brown hair and light skin, but yet genetically we're all from the same family. And to try to separate that based on this paper bag standard that I feel is being enforced with that tweet of Angela's, that just doesn't fly. It's not just your skin tone, it's your culture. It's where you come from, it's your sense of community. And you're not going to take that away from Megan. You're not going to take her community away by using those tasteless tweets like that. You're not going to sow seeds of division. They tried that and it didn't work. And they're going to keep trying, but it's not going to work. I mean, they're trying to do the same thing with Kamala Harris right now. It is a typical tactic used by racists to try to divide the community on skin tone. It's exactly how the British Empire was born, to divide and conquer. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. They always try that and it always fails. So um Stacey Dash is not Megan and Megan is not Stacey Dash, all right? So some of you all may get that reference, some of you may not. But the Duchess of Sussex is not a Stacey Dash. She's always been exactly who she is. So, Chef Sandy Love, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Sunday to you. And I don't know if you guys just heard that, but I see some initials S F and W just sent a cash app. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Sunday to you. All right. So, anyway, I hope I was very clear about what I just said. Denise Marcus says Bear and Angela was trying to sit at the palace with her brown paper bag making. Isn't that something? That's just what I said. Oh my goodness. Denise Marcus, we are in alignment today. That is super cool. I love that. That's just what I just said. And there the reference is right there. Um, Making determinations as to who can enter into Massa's palace. Oh man, I love that. Mark it down. I hope I won't forget this day. Connie Balmer, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And happiest of Sundays to you. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. Anastasia. Oh, that's also for Mary. Never mind. I'm gonna stay out of it, but thank you. I'm glad you guys are in deep conversation. Everyone having these exchanges. That is what it's all about. Okay. And LDSW says during the long U.S. Senate career of Joe Biden, he was known as Amtrak Joe, who went home on the Amtrak train to Delaware to be with his family every day. And may I add to that, LDSW, whatever he's praying about, Sleepy Joe, Creepy Joe, and everything else they call him, is probably going to church more often in 1 year than I have probably gone in a lifetime. I think he goes to church more than most people in public life. So um, I for that I'm grateful. So whatever he gets out of it, thank God he's doing it right. All right. Let's see. Take this one. My family is mixed, and my grandmother used to always say, "From the snow to the crow," meaning from very light to very dark. Francilia Mosley, I love that. From the snow to the crow. There you have it. Thank you so much for that. I love that. From the snow to the crow. Okay, yesterday, Duchess of Sussex podcast released Queen's medical information. Uh, I mean, yeah, medical inf- Queen's medical information to cover up Camilla. Well, yeah, that's what I think. Sharon, I think it was to try to suppress that information, and here we go. So, Duchess of Success, I agree with your statement. There's something odd about the Queen's cause of death info. People don't want to rock the boat or get labeled crazy. Yes, absolutely. It's going to cause like a very small avalanche uh, of information to contradict one another. So there'll be one book or one story or one this or that saying one thing, and then it will contradict the other. And every time, just like with maybe this is the new, maybe this is the new what do you call it? The bullying allegations. Maybe this will replace that, I hope. Where every time something happens, they will speculate about the Queen's death. They will speculate about the timetable. And when they need to distract more salacious and interesting and incredibly thought provoking information will come out so that we won't pay attention to the shiny object over there, like, I don't know, a bag of money or Michael Fawcett being rehired by Prince Charles, or it'll be something. But whatever it is going to be enough to distract. So this will be something new, a new weapon in their arsenal to sow seeds of doubt and destruction, is to make sure that we constantly speculate. How did the Queen die? Oh, but I thought she had some kind of arthritis or something. No, Lady C said it was bone cancer, a malady of the bones, as she said. Whatever. But yeah, so that's going to be a new tool in their chest, is that they can keep pulling that out. And thank you so much, Anne. Thank you for being here. Let me see who else. Does Hagatha Christie Levin realize people of different shades? My mom and her sister are different shades of pigment. Some are darker, others lighter. Exactly, exactly. Like my brother. We look so much alike, but my brother has kind of brownish hair, and my hair is not. I'm darker than him, and he's not. But both of us look like our father, and that's neither one of us look much like our mother. We both look like our father. We both have that same kind of look, and it's a look, a mannerism, and all those things, which obviously, so that's just the way it is in the black household. It's just always that way. And as we get older, some of us start to darken. They always say if you look at the ears and the knuckles, you can see what their actual skin tone will be when they get older. So yeah, that's something that I guess and you know what, and I can't help but think that Angela Levin is just um using this to get attention. Yes, she is the demon her mother said she is. Oh man. Okay. Happy 10 pals. Shelly L has a super chat, Baron. You just described my father, my sister, and I. Red hair. My brother has brown hair and green eyes. My dad was dark and my mom was fair skinned. Yes, exactly. That was the household I grew up in. There was red hair, brown hair, and black hair out of the siblings. So that's just the way it happened. So again, it doesn't it doesn't follow like one particular shade or anything like that. Everyone, you know, you may have the same eyes, the same nose, and all that. and very different skin tone. So thank you so much, Shelly L, for the super chat, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Um, but again, at some point, you have to just remind people, and I think Queens are made, put it very well by saying, um, of course, Meghan from her, Angela Levin seeks to separate Meghan from her blackness to racially abuse her with black people defending her. She fails to realize Americans have white and black ancestry. We consider skin folks of all shades skin folks. So that was absolutely brilliant. I mean, thanks for sharing the other tweet from 2020. And thanks for following up with that, is all I can say. When I saw that, I was just like, yes, yes, somebody's got it right. Okay. Agatha Christie, writer of her next novel. Anyway, so Angela Levin has written a book about Camilla. Angela is licking the royal boots to, I guess, to make sure she always has a voice, which means, of course, she will always have an income, and she's always going to pop up on television. This is not going to hurt her. I don't know. It's just something weird about Fleet Street, about the tabloid press, where it doesn't seem to matter how low you go. I mean, say what you will about the cancel culture. There are just some people who need to be canceled. When a person has a platform big enough that a person can walk out of their house and be attacked in the street, then that person needs to either go to jail or be canceled. We've had a president that during the pandemic, even though there were Asian Americans born in this country, paying taxes, contributing to this country, part of the American melting pot, suddenly they find themselves um, being attacked on the streets. Now, that same energy could easily turn against African Americans or Latino Americans even more so than it has already. That fear of other mentality can and has quite often caused people to die. I don't want to be attacked in the street because the president of the United States has singled out my race or my culture as the cause of this or the cause of that. But that could easily happen. So some people can and should be canceled for some of the things that they have said or done. But there don't seem to be any type of bottom in the UK. I mean, the big third rail, if you will, of course, is anything that involves children. Well, we have something to do with children and a member of the royal family. And guess what? It ain't hurt him. It ain't hurt him. He ain't going to jail. He ain't going to get in trouble. He gets to keep everything. He loses nothing. His only price that he has paid is his limited public appearances. He wasn't welcome to the state dinner, I suppose, and that's his punishment. Is you don't get to be in the family official photos anymore. You don't get to show up for the events, but you keep your houses, you keep your money, you keep your royal protection, you keep all that stuff. Now that should have been enough for a person to be canceled. He hasn't really been canceled. At some point, he's expecting to worm his way back into the public. So I don't know what the bottom is for the British tabloid media. For years, they've known about um, Jimmy, that person. I don't want to say his name. They've known about him. They've known about a lot of people associated with the royal family. And ironically, there was speculation that Agatha Christie knew about that Jimmy person and said nothing and did nothing and looked the other way, right? There's speculation that she knew and said nothing. So there is no bottom with the tabloid media. You can always redeem yourself. You can always find yourself back on television and seemingly in public favor. So that is something that I am fascinated by. I am also very pissed off about it, but there does not seem to be a bottom for those people. And with aristocrats, we've known for years that when you're an aristocrat, you can, how did Trump say it? You can shoot someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue and nothing's going to happen. That's the aristocrats. That is how it is at the top of the aristocrats. They know each other's secret. And while that's concerned, I'm not going to give a free pass to the U.S. because if you go to Congress, if you know, you can just point at different politicians in the U.S. Congress, Senate, or the House of Representatives. You can just point to people and tell their story, and they're being protected. So it's not limited to the UK. This happens every day in the US. There's some wicked politicians that are guilty of a lot of things and nothing happens. It's not a story. So there you have it. She's in good company. She will be protected, and nothing is going to happen to her. She will, a year from now, she will still pull the same little things out of her hat whenever she feels she needs to pay off a credit card or something. That's how she functions. Official Lauren Brown is here. Hey, Lauren Brown. That tweet was brilliant about the many shades of blackness. And yes, canceling is necessary for people who do not experience repercussions for harm that is done to others. Amen, my sister. Thank you so much for saying that. That's exactly what I was trying to articulate in my own him and Han way. Thank God you showed up. Because I think it would have taken me about another 10 minutes to get there. Um, that's what I meant. Woo! That's what I was trying to say. Thank you. Uh oh. Uh oh. I haven't done this in a while, but here goes. Hello, Ivy here. Ivy! Hi, Ivy! We love you, Ivy. Thank you so much for being here. Now I can start using some big words. Y'all know my vocabulary increases whenever, hello, Ivy here. Whenever Ivy is around, suddenly my education goes from the fifth grade to the 12th grade. Oh, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. Sarah Vine, if anyone deserves an anti-racism award, is Prince Charles. I'm sorry, why do I keep saying Prince? King Charles, not Harry and Meghan. First of all, let me introduce you to the real Sarah Vine. And then there's the other one that I refer to as It Takes a Village. The one on the left side is achieved from birth. The one on the right side, do you guys remember that scene from The Wizard of Oz when they were trying to get them ready to meet the wizard? And there was all these beauticians and teams of magicians and all of the stardust it took to make them look good. Well, that is what happened to Sarah Vine. So, messy alert, messy alert, messy alert. So yes, once again, on the left is the real Sarah Vine, and the one on the right is smoke and mirrors. I mean, it takes a village, Sarah Vine. Right. Okay. So moving along. They went to the oldest institution in UK history and told them what they were doing wrong. Fellow recipients include Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and the late basketball legend, civil rights icon Bill Russell. Quite how the Sussexes feat feats compared to defending your nation against genocidal maniac or overcoming racial, that is, segregation, to become one of the most decorated black sportsmen of all time is unclear. Indeed, if one were Zelensky, one might even feel a little insulted by the association. So notice that I highlighted genocidal because since we want to bring up the idea that there is an attempt at genocide in Ukraine, this is the same Ukraine that treated Africans in the most abominable way at the start of the war, right? That Ukraine. Yes, it is awful what has happened in Ukraine. If you guys remember, every day, what was I saying? Let's pray for Ukraine. Oh, I can't believe the resilience of the people in Ukraine. Oh, those Ukrainians, they're so strong. Only to find out that people that look just like me were being pushed off the trains, left abandoned at the train stations, made to walk for miles, and then weren't even allowed to cross the border into another predominantly light or white country because of their skin tone. So, Vladimir Zelensky, I think he has shown incredible leadership. However, once this is all said and done, I hope we will revisit the way Black people, mostly students from Africa and their families, were mistreated in Ukraine. People who were not poor, were not there for the welfare state, but people who came to get a good education and perhaps improve their chances of a good life wherever, maybe Ukraine, maybe someplace else. People intelligent enough to learn the language and to go to university there were being treated like some type of vagabonds or hobos at the rail station, pushing them off the train. So there's that to consider when we consider the fact that defending your nation against a genocidal maniac or overcoming racial segregation, um, I would say that the Sussexes were actually the first in the royal family to donate money and speak out about what was happening in Ukraine. They were the first to donate and speak out about what happened in Afghanistan with the crisis from the Americans leaving Afghanistan. Anyway, they were the first to speak out. The Queen even made a donation, maybe perhaps out of embarrassment because Harry did it first. So let's talk about genocidal maniacs, shall we? I wonder if the people of the Mau Mau rebellion that were put in concentration camps would consider the royal family, the Queen, or perhaps Britain, the United Kingdom, as genocidal maniacs. That certainly happened. That certainly happened. Let us not forget that while we're focusing on genocides. Matter of fact, let us consider the history of the British Empire for hundreds of years if we want to discuss someone defending their country from a genocide. There's so much to unpack here. The Mau Mau Rebellion happened, what was it, 1952 to 1960? That's how long it went on. How many people died while the Queen was on the throne from 62 to, I'm sorry, 52 to 1960? How many people died? How many people went to concentration camps? How many unknown, nameless, faceless individuals lost their lives under British rule in this very recent history that we should dare say that Harry and Meghan somehow they have missed the mark. Harry has worked very hard so that his family can be secure against some of the things in this world that is going against him, like white supremacy and, of course, the the right wing uh, sector of society in the UK, and of course, by default, here in the US, who called him a race traitor, or perhaps some of the people that he fought against in Afghanistan on behalf of the United Kingdom who would like to see him dead. And of course, the people out there who looks at his family and thinks, they should not be here either. He's got all of that to contend with, plus a life of service in so many ways. I'm not even going to demean myself by having to name it, as well as the Duchess of Sussex with her lifelong commitment to serving others. This is not something that just happened in the couple years since they left the royal family service. This is something that they have both been committed to for a very long time. They have put their money, they have put their efforts, they have given their time to uplift, feed, help, clothe others again and again, which is more than I can say for most people in that royal family. And for all the years that the queen was on the throne, I wonder how many of these type of awards that she has received for service to humanity. I can't think of any. I guess living off of the sovereign grant is award enough, but there's not many people in the royal family that would ever qualify for something like this, let alone should ever be considered. Their whole life is privilege. Harry has turned his back on that privilege. If you guys remember the kind words from Colin Powell and others when describing Harry, they are just so bothered by this award, this award from the Ripples of Hope. They're so bothered by that that it has been one malicious attack after the other. They have let the hounds out. Yeah, they have let the they have released the hounds to go after them, considering the abominable record of the royal family, of the British government, all the way. Let's go back to the start of slavery with the first Queen Elizabeth. If we look that far back and everything in between, how dare you try to embarrass the Sussexes like that? The British royal family has turned a blind eye to its racist past. The British royal family gathered for official photo at Clarence House. This is the royal family. This is the face of the royal family that everyone gets to see. But the things that they ignore, the things that go unsaid, that's something that we're supposed to pretend is not important. Like there in the middle. Moment, Indigenous Channel 10 newsreader Narelda Jacobs demand an apology from the British monarchy for colonialism just days after the Queen's death. Nothing. And then, of course, there on the right side, you can see the Star of Africa in the scepter and in the state crown. The wealth that has been extracted from South Africa, money that could be used to feed, house, and clothe people. They say the Star of Africa is worth about $400 million. I wonder how much money has been made at the Tower of London from people paying just to get a chance to see it. And of course, punching down, I heard the chief monarch of the thieving, raping, genocidal empire is finally dying. May her pain be excruciating. If anyone expects me to express anything but disdain for the monarch who supervised a government that sponsored the genocide that massacred and displaced half of my family, and the consequences of which those alive today are still trying to overcome, you can keep wishing upon a star. So, of course, they decided to declare this person as the source of evil, as the bad guy, as the person that we should focus all of our hostility on. How dare she bring this up while the world is grieving over the queen? But yet, it's okay if it's never brought up under any circumstances because, oddly enough, there's even black people that say, well, that was then, this is now, time to move on. Or is it time to pay reparations? Let's try with some reparations and then let's consider moving on. The Sussexes are doing duty, they're doing service, and yet anytime someone brings up anything about the past, which Harry himself has said, we have to talk about this stuff. If we don't talk about it, there is no moving on. And so they're going to keep sending out the new Prince and Princess of Wales. They're going to send out the king and the queen and the rest of that royal family to these former colonies, now Commonwealth countries, when the conversations that need to be had are not being had. They rather attack Harry and Meghan in the here and now for helping other people and ignore the genocidal past of the United Kingdom. The Mama Rebellion, very recent history. So, yeah, they may be facing some degree of genocide in Ukraine, but the president of Ukraine needs to answer for how black people were treated there. He needs to answer for that. And then right here, CNN reporter asked British woman about Queen Elizabeth. Well, if you guys remember, this young lady right here, she said, I'm the wrong person to ask. You don't really want to hear what I have to say. You don't want to hear what I have to say. And she spoke about pretty much what I just said and then some. She adds, it's because of the British colonial history and quite shady things like Prince Andrew. Fair enough, reporter reacts. Isn't it amazing how outraged these British reporters are? These tabloid reporters, they're so outraged about Harry and Meghan receiving an award. And yet, all of this stuff that comes up, they gloss over it, look past it, don't mention it anymore, and then it's back to Meghan and Harry. And as for this person, if you notice on some of her best photos, back to the shade, some of her best photos, you notice what she's doing, right? It's the same thing Angela Levin does. She's trying to hide her necks, plural. uh, she's trying to hide her necks, plural. And lastly, may I remind you, you have never seen Harvey Fierstein and Sarah Vine in the same room at the same time, have you? Ever? Serendipity? I don't think so. You have never seen them in the same room at the same time. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay. And with that, I am going to take a look at some of your comments. Oh, and let us not forget that she had that feeling. Remember that feeling that she had? This is the same Sarah Vine that had that feeling. She was the one who had those very racist feelings. Her feelings were so twisted that when CBS spoke about her feelings, they had to cover up what kind of feelings that she was having. Yeah, she was so worried, they had to cover up that word. Out of all the words at her command, that is the one that she chose to use. That's the Sarah Vine that is going after the Sussexes for receiving an award. How much credibility does she have? How many necks does she have? In both cases, it's actually pretty unclear, isn't it? I don't know how many necks, and I don't know how much credibility. But I do know one thing. I am persistently messy about it. And also, I'm still going to call them out. All right. So it was a whole lot of comments. So I'll just go back to some of the more recent ones. I think Philip and the Queen knew Charles was going to mess this king thing up. That's why they hung on so long. This kingship is slowly going downhill. It is. It is going down in flames. It is definitely going down in flames, Joyce Wells. Thank you so much for your comment. B10 Powell says, and to think that stolen diamond from Africa sits on the monarch's head from time to time, shameful. Yeah, they are flaunting the wealth. And actually, I'm only just getting started. I got a whole bunch of other stuff to talk about. Prince Charles, what has he done? People in the UK are going through a lot now. I want Charles to tell his state to donate to the poor. Gracie in Fawabi, I again have some more stuff that I'm going to add in just a moment. Baron, thank you for laying out so clearly what Harry is being put through by his family, most likely for marrying an unabashedly Black woman. Thank you, Joanna A. Thank you very much for that. Let's see. Anastasia Isabella says, I don't think that demon is married to anyone at all. Oh, that's for someone else. Stupid enough to marry her. All right. Thank you so much. And of course, big happy hellos from Beverly Hardy. Thank you for that. And Joan Garcia says those so called writers value their free speech, but are upset with Harry and Meghan telling their own truth. Such hypocrites. Yes, Joan Garcia, thank you for reminding us about that. That they love to tell the story of Harry and Meghan, but they don't want them to speak truth about themselves. Whatever experience they have been through is their story, and they have a right to tell their story. That is their experience. They have a right to tell their story. The exchange between two people does not guarantee your privacy or privacy to abuse me and for me to stay silent. There's no guarantee of that. There's no guarantee anyway, but the idea that you can be abusive to someone is that family was on full display abusing the Sussexes during the Queen's funeral. They were on full display and they did not care that the world witnessed the abuse. Like the thing with Harry's uniform, how in the Frappuccino would we have noticed that the Queen's cipher was or was not there? I have speculated about that the cipher, that the ER2, may have been at home in Harry's drawer in Montecito. It may not have even been taken off the uniform. Harry wanted the attention to remain on his grandmother's life, not him or his uniform. He offered to not wear it at all. But when he did wear it, good God, I tell you, I hadn't seen a walk like that since Yul Brynner in Westworld. And if you guys are old enough to get that reference, you understand everything. But I haven't seen anything like that since Yul Brynner in Westworld. Can I get an amen? That was a walk to remember, only to have been outdone by Harry in that uniform. Who would notice something like the Queen's cipher when you got Harry giving you the most epic display of military precision in that uniform? Who the front door cares? It did not matter what was or was not on that uniform. But of course, they had to find some kind of way to try to tear him down while he's grieving. And the family did not care whether or not he was hurt, who did or did not notice it. They were on full display as a racist institution messing with light skinned Harry while he's trying to trying to grieve his grandmother. Leave light skinned Harry alone. You're right, Harry and his bodyguards. He was flanked by those old people in uniform that seemed to be there to protect him. Ah, okay, okay. Attention once again, squatties and derangers. Thank you, Cloud Nugget, for this one. Tuesday is fast approaching with, sadly, the final episode of Archetypes this season. And Karen has another announcement. The podcast is working, working ham. Don't forget to tune in. See attachment for episode details. And then, of course, we go on here. Topic. Uh, what is that? Demi's, I can't say that. Of Mumbless. Demystification of Mumbless and breakdown of clothing copycat gas. Language expert Rebecca Melanin to best-selling author of She Can't Speak and notable fashion guru I'm a Black. I'm a Black. So Rebecca Melanin and I'm a Black. So once again, thank you so much, Cloud Nugget, for this wonderful preview of what to expect from the next Archetypes. And so, yeah, expect to hear Karen mumbling her way through it. KKK Karen is going to be there mumbling through the next Archetypes. So, anyway, I can't wait to hear it. Hopefully there will be maybe I'll turn on the caption. I'll put the caption on so I can know what she's saying. Now, take a look here. Take a look here. As I mentioned earlier, President Joe Biden, he's in, is he in Connecticut? Yeah, I think he's in Connecticut. Anyway, he goes here every year for Thanksgiving. I guess they have a home there or something. But look at all the people who are there to see the non consequential, uninspired president, the one that everybody seems to think is too old and too lost to matter. Look at all the people, young and old, clamoring to see the president of the United States. There's Joe wearing his aviators and sipping a latte, I suspect, unbothered by anything, unbothered. There he is with First Lady Jill Biden. And of course, check it out. Biden did this. $2.84, $2.55, $2.59, $2.62. Gee, I wonder what happened. Oh, yeah, the election is over. The midterms is gone. So now the prices can go back to where Joe Biden had them in the first place. Here on the left, you can see $2.83. Joe Biden did that. President Biden did that. So obviously, what happened before the midterms did not really work as well as they expected. You guys, usually the president in power, his party loses the House and the Senate. And even with the inflation rates as high as they are, Joe Biden didn't actually lose much ground. Yes, they took the House of Representatives. They may lose it again in the next election cycle. They may very well lose it again in the next election cycle. But they didn't keep the Senate. They did not keep the Senate. Even if Georgia doesn't go the way of the Democrats, they are not going to keep the Senate. Kamala Harris is going to have the tie breaking vote. So I say win Georgia just to win it, just for a little extra security. But again, I'm going to just say it this way. On January 6th, what was it, 2021? I woke up and I watched them count the elections. All of a sudden, the news feed was gone. There was an insurrection in the United States Capitol, an insurrection, because Joe Biden managed to remove Satan from the White House. So there was an insurrection. Up to the last minute, they were still trying to cling to power. So whatever anybody thinks of Joe Biden, fine. He got the devil out of the White House, and that's all I care about. That is all I care about. And I think he's done a very good job while he's been there. So there you have it. And even in Florida, people keep saying, "Oh my goodness, Ron DeSantis, Ron DeSantis, Ron DeSantis. Look at Ron DeSantis." And you look at Biden. People don't care that Ron DeSantis is there. And trust me, in that part of Florida, is clearly explained. Just look at his t-shirt. The guy's t-shirt says everything about that part of Florida that you need to know. Are they holding hands or patting Ron DeSantis back? Are they thanking him? Are they celebrating him? No, it's all about Joe. And that was that same day that Joe made it very clear nobody F's with a Biden. So even if Joe Biden don't run for the next election, it is not going to be Ron DeSantis. I guarantee you that. Ron DeSantis is not the most popular person. And according to this person on Twitter, he may even be a leather daddy. I don't know. I don't have evidence. These are superimposed images of Ron DeSantis and Alex Jones. But he may very well be an undercover leather daddy. Who knows what he is? I mean, he certainly got the body for it. Woo! He he certainly has the body for it. So, and plus, Florida's not in play. We no longer need Florida. The Democrats no longer need Florida to win the election. They do not need Florida. Florida is inconsequential, so they can keep all of their votes in Florida. It does not matter. Let them have it. Florida is not essential to the Democrats. We have New Mexico, Nevada, and Arizona. We don't need Florida. And pretty soon we're going to have Texas. So that's why they keep putting those people on the bus to get them out of Texas, because Texas may be in play next time around. So Ron DeSantis is of no consequence. Now, right there, that lovely bird that you're looking at, you see that? That is a Boeing 757. It is not a 747. It's a twin engine. It has excellent range, over 5,000 nautical miles. And this is the 757 that was used by the Duchess of Sussex. See there? That's it right there. That's the 757. See the three windows on the side there? Uh-huh. There it is. That's the same 757 that was used by the Duchess of Sussex. That 757. Just saying. Now, let's go to one of the saddest figures that ever existed in the royal family. Take a look at poor Sophie. Po Sophie. Po Sophie. Not poor, but Po Sophie. Po Sophie Wessex, who has never been a duchess and never will be a duchess. Um, Look at how she's looking so sad. In the mirror, you can see what she's looking at. This is the photo that I'm pretty sure was not released on purpose, but there it is. You see, They keep saying she deserves to be a duchess. Fans go wild. First of all, what does a Sophie Wessex fan look like? Exactly what is a Sophie Wessex fan? Who even knows who Sophie Wessex is, let alone is a Sophie Wessex fan? But they insist that she has fans, so I'm going to just go Sophie Wessex fans. However, poor Sophie looks dead into the camera, longing to receive a duchy, to become a duchess. Poor Sophie. Sophie with that horrible clothing allowance. Sophie who married the non binary prince. That's Sophie. Sophie, who was once called the Princess Diana look-alike. Poor Sophie. No, I'm sorry, Poe. She ain't poor, she Poe. She's so Poe they couldn't afford the other R. Poe Sophie. And take a look there. Sophie is so Poe that that brooch that the queen gave her, they didn't give her one of those little silk ribbons. She had to go down to the fabric store and find a little swatch of fabric herself because she couldn't afford to have anybody give her the nice one. So she went down to the fabric store, to Joann's Fabric, and she found a little swatch of yellow fabric herself so she could wear her. You know, I'm being evil right now. So she went down to the fabric store to get that little swatch of fabric herself because there was no money available. That's only available for a duchess, not a countess. The countesses are lucky to have the brooch. So if you want the brooch as a countess, you have to go get your own fabric. You have to go down to the fabric store, wait in line, or ask for a sample. And so, since she ain't got no money, she had to ask for a sample. And of course, Eddie went with her because Edwina knows his way around the fabric store. As a matter of fact, nothing demonstrates Eddie's familiarity with fabric more than that maxi coat that he wears on occasion, which he has had lined with red satin because it makes him feel sexy. That Eddie. So, po Sophie, po Sophie. And then, of course, if you look behind the Duchess of Cambridge, now the Princess of Wales, because she just got a, you know, if you look behind her, look at Po Sophie with her eyes cast down to the floor in despair, and she's wearing that garish green dress and just looking downtrodden and down in the mouth. This is the same Sophie that gave Meghan that very evil, glaring. Remember the look? Remember the look? That's the one who gave Megan the side eye, glaring at her and bristling and wouldn't even sit back in the seat when they were on the way to the funeral. She sat forward and away so people could see her ugly hat. That's Sophie. Po Sophie. Now, according to the Queen, she was supposed to become the Duchess of Edinburgh, but that didn't happen because Charles said no. Charles said no to Poe Sophie and and her non-binary husband. So Poe Sophie will have to just exist in the shadow of Kate and eventually the Cambridge children and anybody else that comes along because she's not even a duchess. She's still a countess. She's been a countess for over 20 years, while Kate has become a duchess, the Princess of Wales, and eventually Queen. But poor Sophie is just going to stay a countess living off the sovereign grant, the limited funds that's available for her which is why she had to go down to the fabric store and get that little swatch of yellow fabric to wear her brooch. That's Sophie. Shelly L says, I imagine Sophie fans are a bunch of middle-aged Karens wearing jumpsuits designed by Edwina with 911 on speed dial. With the 991 emergency, that is, on speed dial. You know what? I suppose you're right. There is probably a and considering all this stuff, look at how, and by the way, Shelly L, thank you so much for the super chat. Look at Camilla's reaction to post Sophie. This was Camilla's reaction when she heard about post Sophie. Yeah, Camilla seemed to have tears running down her very large eyes when she heard that Sophie was not going to ever become a duchess. Post Sophie. Post Sophie. Yeah, so Camilla got so tickled that she just she just Cam- Camilla had to throw back her head and just laugh when she saw post Sophie with that little swatch of fabric. That was Camilla's reaction. So it wasn't a good night for Sophie. She had to exist in the shadow of her niece, her niece, the Duchess of Cambridge, Princess of Wales. She's always going to have to live in her shadow, even though she once had a business that was not thriving and went under, but she still owned her own business, a PR firm. She's going to have to forever live in the shadow of the side piece queen, and of course the yacht girl, Princess of Wales. That's the rest of her life. No money available for clothing or allowance or anything like that. That is the future of Sophie Wessex. And Charles, King Charles III, um, in Charles's lifetime, this is what's going to happen to Britain. Scotland will become an independent state. Wales will also become an independent state, and there will be a unified Ireland. Northern Ireland will cease to exist. So, again, this is the future of the United Kingdom. Scotland, the nation of Scotland, the Scottish Republic, the Irish Republic, the Republic of Wales, and England. That is the future. So, under Charles, this is the future of the United Kingdom. It's coming, and there's nothing that any of them can do about it. This is the future. Someone said, I would rather be a neighbor to England than a slave to Westminster. Isn't that powerful? There was a Scottish person who put that on their Twitter. I'd rather be a neighbor to England than a slave to Westminster. So embrace the future, Charlie. Or as Hoghead Pierce Morgan would say, blip, 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 blip. That's all, Charles. Blip, blip, blip. That's all, Charles. Woo! Blip, blip, blip. That's all, Charles. That blip, blip, blip. That's all, Charles. Oh, Ivy's going. Ivy, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Ivy out. Yes, that's it, you guys. Blip, blip, blip. That's all. Oh, man. So, if you guys ever wonder why I stay up late some nights, I was putting this together. I don't know. I started looking at Porky Pig, and I was thinking about Hoghead, and next thing you know, That's all. Oh man. I can't wait to see the look on his face when Scotland becomes an independent state. Well, guys, he will still be the king of Scotland, but this is just yet another way that Charles is losing something, and it's nothing he can do about it. So, um, wait, Anita is here. Anita, you know what? I just recall I did see you here. Hi, Anita from my Duke and I. I'm so sorry I didn't say hi. I think I was on a roll and didn't remember to say hi. But anyway, hello, Anita from my Duke and I. Uh, Baron, I'm still cracking up when you imitated the Queen's horrible anus speech. Well, thank you. What is that? Is it Crockett Queen? Crockett Queen. Croquette. Oh, Croquette Queen. Sorry about that. Croquette Queen. Well, thank you so much for subscribing. And yes, you're absolutely right. 1992 is a year which I shan't look back upon with undiluted pleasure. It was a horrible anus. Anus horribilis. Ooh. 19 Wait, let me do it. 1992 is a year which I shan't look back upon with undiluted pleasure. It was a horrible anus. An absolutely horrible anus. Oh, man. Well, I tell you what, whatever happened to the Queen, at least she got the good stuff on the way out. You know what I mean? They made sure she got the good stuff on the way out, as evident by this photo. So, yes, she did okay. All right. Well, anyway, thank you so much for subscribing. And again, thank you for spending your Sunday with us. I appreciate it. Joan Garcia has a super chat. Baron, those women are full of hostility and jealousy toward Meghan. They are unable to even hide it on their faces. That is so true. The hostility is palatable, um, and very obvious given the constant looks that they have on their face. You are so right about that. And it's something about that type of evil, that level of evil, that they can't contain it at the most inopportune moment, which is any time it is likely to erupt. And I do thank you for your super chat. And also thank you for being a member and watching Royal Sussex. 1992, and now I can't stop doing it, was a year that I shan't look back upon with undiluted pleasure. It was a horrible anus. Oh, man. Okay. Kate's top looks for 2022. Really? Really? This is where you're going to hang it, is on these outfits? This is Kate's top looks. This is Kate's top looks for 1992. And of course, you really can't say it without using the word demure. They used the word demure like they used what was the word that the lady used? Oh yes, a mute. Mute and demure. two of the most interesting descriptions for Kate in 2022: mute woman and demure. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go with that. Mute and demure. That's our Kate. Mute and demure. So someone said that she was one of those mute women, a classic ancient mute woman. Now, see, that's the one that they should go after. That's the one that the royal family should say, wait a minute. They should have a lawyer write a cease and desist letter to that person for telling the truth, calling her a mute woman. And mute and demure, well, that describes her better than anything I can think of. Mute woman. She's a mute woman. Here we go.
Amongst certain demographics, and I'm going to say older people and men, is because she says absolutely nothing. Yeah. She's a good little girl who keeps quiet and doesn't complain, doesn't do anything, doesn't rock the boat, and is a very traditional, old-fashioned mute woman.
Take note, Nicola. There it is. Right.
One of the reasons Catherine is so popular amongst certain demographics, and I'm going to say older people and men, is because she says absolutely nothing. Yeah. She's a good little girl who keeps quiet and doesn't complain, doesn't do anything, doesn't rock the boat, and is a very traditional, old-fashioned mute woman.
Take note, Nicola. There it is. Right.
One of the reasons Catherine is so popular amongst certain demographics, and I'm going to say older people and men, is because she says absolutely nothing. Yeah. She's a good little girl who keeps quiet and doesn't complain, doesn't do anything, doesn't rock the boat, and is a very traditional, old-fashioned mute woman.
Take note.
I could listen to that all day. I cannot tell you how many times I listened to it. I can't count. But somebody was telling the truth. Somebody was telling the truth, and I just wasn't going to do anything to stop them. When somebody's telling that kind of truth, you don't stop them. You don't stop them. You just let them have it. You step aside and let the chips fall where they may. An old-fashioned mute woman. Uh-oh. Oh, Lord. Okay. Oh, boy, I tell you, for a second there, the screen disappeared. I wasn't sure what happened. Oh, I thought I had mute myself trying. Uh-oh. That's weird. That is so weird. Okay. All right. So it appears my computer is starting to do things. All right. Uncut and mute with solid gaudy jewels. Piss me off the way they treated Meghan. How dare the mumbling bag of bones. Mumbling bag of bones. I like that. That mumbling bag of bones. Not to mention an old-fashioned mute woman. All people came from the first mitochondrial Eve from Africa. The melanin or lack of determining, what is that? Determines eyes, hair, and skin. Talk of colonialism meant to divide different ethnicities, one race, human. Thank you, Sharpie, and also thanks for letting me prove I could say mito. Okay, I can't say it. Mitochondrial. Oh, woo. I was trying to figure out how I could work that in a conversation today, and you rescued me. I thank you for that. But yeah, I'm just kidding. But thank you so much for that reminder, and I appreciate it. Mitochondrial. Mitochondrial. I think I got that right. Ooh, that was a tough one. They didn't need a crop of. Let me see. They didn't need to crop the one during the walkabout. She had plenty of space between her and Baldy. Also, these looks are terrible. She fits only two. Yeah. Well, you know what? You know what? It says a lot when this is the hill that they are choosing to raise the flag for Kate's efforts with fashion. It says so much about Kate that this dull display of fabric, this misuse of fashion, if you will, it says a lot about Kate. So, yeah. And you know what? I'm glad it's her and not someone else. Let me see. Let me see here. Oh wait, do I have that? Hold on, let me see if I got it. Let me see if I got some shade to share. Ah, Lord, I can't find it. Oh, you know which one I'm looking for. Uh you know which shade I'm looking for, and I don't see it, unfortunately. The one where the lady says that Kate has that very staid. Oh man, too bad I can't find it. Hmm. Out of all the hundreds of videos I have. Yep, I don't see it. Oh well. I'm gonna move on, you guys. I got some more stuff. Let me make sure I get to everything. So right here, Kate Crusade. I'm sorry, Kate's Crusade. Oh, by the way, Shelly, oh, thank you. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there we go. Baron, we're going to need you to put reading glasses on your wish list. Yeah. I'm afraid you're right. I do need some readers. I do. I probably need bifocals. That's what it is. I probably need bifocals. But yes, I got something else in my box I need to go and pick up. I'm going to do that tomorrow. And you guys, thank you so much for the wish list stuff. It has been like Christmas has come early. Kate's Crusade, how the Princess of Wales has championed early years development as she pens an article promising she'll continue to shine a light on key issues. Um, First of all, I'd be impressed if she actually wrote this. Now, let's take a little walk back in time. How Kate Middleton became the data driven royal expert on early children education, or childhood education, rather. Kate Middleton's best parenting techniques, why Cambridge children are so well behaved. Are they? Are they well behaved? Now, see, look at that photo in the bottom at the middle there. If you look at that, check out Kate. They got a picture of Kate looking at data and numbers and a whole bunch of other stuff she probably don't understand. I mean, they making it look like she was up all night with a number two pencil between her teeth and her hair all over the place, and she fell asleep on the floor, and one of the maids had to wake her up. Mom, is 6 o'clock in the morning. Mom, have you been here all night? And of course, Kate mumbles something about, oh, yes, I have to figure out these 5 questions about child development. That's the Kate that they want us to believe. When the real Kate has a team of nannies, she has someone to clean her house, right? She doesn't want for anything. She doesn't even have to go out to shop. Everything comes to her. When was the last time Kate was in a clothing store? Everything comes to Kate, including whoever wrote this article for her. So, yes, they say she penned an article, but did she really? Did she really? Did Mumbelina really write an article? I think not. I don't believe it. Now, here you can see Kate trying to interact with somebody else's children. The children look completely void and distant of the room, as if they were having an out of body experience, thinking to themselves, gosh, I wish I was someplace else. And then there she is. Look at Kate. This is what happens when the veil slips and you get to see what she's really thinking about being around other people's children. That's the real Kate. This is the Kate, the very unguarded Kate. See that? See that look on her face? See that one eye bigger than the other? That's the real Kate. Now, here, Dr. Shola says, Dear Duchess Kate, why are all the babies and mothers in the video white? Why you should use it as is? Why would you share it as is? Is your message not for Black ethnic minority mothers' mental health too? Royal family didn't care about Meghan Markle's mental health either. So Kate released a video some time ago, and she was speaking about mental health and mothers and such. We all know that pregnancy, childhood, and first months and years of a child's life can be hugely damaging. Well, I believe the Duchess of Sussex's early years of, or should I say, early months of pregnancy, and of course, her life and potentially her children's lives have been affected by all of the nasty comments and articles and even the threats that have come from Narnia. And Kate is so busy speaking up for other people, but she didn't say or do anything about her sister in law. This is the woman who spoke up for everybody else, but did absolutely nothing for her sister in law. And to give you an idea of what Dr. Shola was speaking of, here, take a look at this. This is a little snapshot from one of those videos where Kate was talking about child care and development and children and the mother's mental health. Well, if you notice, there are no Black people there. Representation matters. There are no Black people in this image anywhere. There was no Black people in the video. It was all about white children and white mothers, not the woman of color that married into the royal family, and not any women or children of color in Britain. That's what this was about. It's quite obvious because, well, that's who's featured in the video. And so, given the fact that the United Kingdom is, very much a melting pot, there are multiple races and religions and such, to limit the child care to only white women in Britain was kind of curious. But then again, that is very much the way it goes with that royal family, is that the idea of representation is something that doesn't come up because that's who works for them. They don't have Black people around. That is why something like the Cambridge tour of the Caribbean happened, because of the lack of representation. Lex says they wanted her to pen an article because Meghan sent an op-ed about her miscarriage and also was elegant in her discussion for Black Lives Matter to her alma mater. Yes, Lex, they are trying to make Kate, and I'm pretty sure it's going to have some tie-in to their visit to Boston. You know that they are trying to create some type of connection for the Boston tour, so they can say, oh, and she did write that op-ed. Now, right here, I think Kate should consider. Oh, by the way, Lex, thank you so much for the super chat. This is what they should consider. A vast body of research show that improved nutrition in schools lead to increased focus and attention, improved test scores, and better classroom behavior. Support healthy habits, and consistent messages. Nutrition, school food helps, nutritious that is, school food helps students develop lifelong healthy eating habits. So if you want to help children, feed the families. Make sure that there is a healthy dietary program available for these kids at school. Make sure that they are having breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Kids are skipping meals in Britain. This is something that has been happening, is that people are going hungry in certain neighborhoods, in certain areas, postal codes. There's a lot of poverty happening to people right now in Britain. They're having to decide to pay this bill or that bill, and they don't have nutritious food. And some schools that normally would have, the odd child here and there whose parents forgot to pay for the lunch program, parents don't have the money. So maybe Kate should focus on hunger and child development. New data shows 4 million children in households affected by food insecurity. This is in Britain, right? This is in Britain. This is a report from Britain. And you can see there they highlighted a vast body of research shows that improved nutrition in school leads to increased focus and attention, improved test scores, and better classroom behavior. Support healthy habits and consistent messages. Nutritious school food helps students develop lifelong healthy eating habits. It also contributes to a culture of wellness at school, reinforce nutrition education messages from teachers. Healthy school food can also increase school connectedness and reinforce to children, families, and communities that students' health and well being are valued. So, this is something Kate should concentrate on, not the menu at the state dinner. This is one of those state dinner menus that they had for, let's see, this was 2005. So this is an example of what the royal family focuses on. And here you can see this number of people receiving 3 days worth of emergency food by Trussell Trust Food Bank in the United Kingdom from 2008 and 9 to 2021-22. Look at the increased amount of people that are receiving emergency food. 3 days worth of emergency food that has been passed out. Look at how the numbers have increased, but yet they want everybody to celebrate the state dinner. What a contrast! That on the one hand, you have Kate wearing the blood diamond and jewels and dressed up in a cosplay of Princess Diana with the white and the beading and such. And of course, you got Sophie. And then, of course, there's lots of food insecurity going on. This is what they want people to celebrate. And then this today from the Daily Mail of all places, shocking photos of families' 3-bedroom home with mushrooms and sewage seeping through walls. Mother and her children are forced to live in mold-infested Islington Council House for a year as Grove launches crackdown in wake of Awab Isaac's death. This is what they should focus on. Of course, they saved this story for after the state dinner. They didn't want to put this as a headline before the state dinner, so they waited until after. But this was actually the Daily Mail. But what's important to remember here is that Kate looked absolutely dazzling at the palace. See there? Kate dazzles at palace. That's the real story. Not food poverty, not the long lines, not more food banks and emergency food than ever. This is like a post-war type of situation. But Kate looked dazzling. A strange fate-based superstition that one has the birthright to rule over nations of people, own all the land, and dwell upon and steal their earnings under the guise of taxation. So I hope that while Kate is learning and creating questions and stuff like that, I hope she's paying attention to the other kids in the country that do not have all of the possibilities that her children have. Now, as a contrast, this is what the Sussexes have been up to. This is the Sussexes that do not deserve to be awarded by the Ripple of Hope, Robert F. Kennedy Ripple of Hope. This is the ones who don't deserve to be acknowledged or awarded. Doesn't matter that they have a thriving foundation where they have given out tons of food and financial gifts and such. Let's not pay attention to that. Let's just make sure that Kate looked great. We have to make sure that Kate was looking great and dazzled at the state dinner. That is what's important. None of that other stuff matters. So long as we all understand that Kate looked great, we have nothing else to talk about. Kate looked great. That is our focus. Kate looked great. Ignore all of the great things that the Sussexes have done, but Kate has made a fashion statement for 2022. How? I'm not sure. And Kate dazzled at the state dinner, right? Kate went on that independent trip to Denmark, and they still trying to figure out what she was doing there. That's what's important. So when Kate gets to Boston, let's make sure that we understand that Kate looks great. And oh, yes, the Commonwealth tour. Let's not forget that. So yeah, that's what we should focus on. So, and with that, you guys, that was about as much messy as I can handle for one day. Thank you all so much for being here on Royal Sussex. Thank you for the generous contributions, including the Super Chat Super Stickers and the Cash App. Thank you all very much for that. Also, thank you, moderators, for keeping this a very safe space. That is always appreciated. Excuse me. It's actually raining here, which means that I am having sinuses today. I do apologize for that, but I am having sinuses today. My postnasal drip or whatever it is. But yeah, something is irritating me. But yes, thank you all very much. Also, I will be looking for the last word of the day. And thank you all for contributing with your comments. Even if I don't get around to them, it helps to shape the conversation. Ooh, okay. I'm going to have to save this one in case I need to use it later. Oh, got to save that in case I need to use that later. See what happens when you take a peek at the Twitter? British royals met tyrannical Middle East monarchs over 200 times since the Arab Spring. Huh. Okay, I'm going to keep that in case I need that one. Okay, got it. Just in case I need to build a case. You know what I'm saying? Just in case I need to build a case. Really? What? I love this. Okay. All right. All right. Let me stop. I got to stop. Let me get back over to Royal Sussex. I cannot stop and look at these. Oh, my goodness. All right. I'm done. I'm looking back. Okay. I'm here. Yes. Thank you so much, Karen. Bye, everyone. Let me see. Everyone continue to pray for the Sussexes, each other, and the world. Perfect cookies and cream. What a great way to close out. Thank you so much for that. Pray for our faves. Yes, Connie Barmer, we shall. We shall. Oh, thank you for being here, official Lauren Brown. And all the other content creators. It was a full house today. I mean, I'm loving that. Okay, let me see here. Yes, Kate dazzles. Yippee. Kate dazzled. While children are going hungry, Kate dazzled. And that's what's important. But let me remind you guys about this. That person that gave Meghan that very negative, nasty, glaring look is having a pretty hard time right now coming to terms with everything that she's lacking in life today. A good fashion budget, having to live off the sovereign grant, a failed PR firm, whereas Meghan had a very successful career in acting, and also has a very successful career with her podcast right now. And yet, this English Rose somehow has missed the opportunity train and is stuck walking in the shadow of Princess Kate at these functions and occasions. When I first saw the photo, I thought she was a lady in waiting, but no, that's actually a countess in desperation following a duchess and a princess. So too bad. It's really too bad. And of course, she had to humble herself to go and find that little swatch of fabric. She had to humble herself and go to the strip mall and go into the Joann's fabric and look for a little piece of yellow gold fabric so she can pin her own, because she don't have a anybody to dress her. So she had to go and find that little swatch of fabric herself so she can pin her little brooch on her dress. So yeah, she's gone from bad to worse, and it's really unfortunate, but I hope that on her way down, she will remember how she treated the Duchess of Sussex. I hope that will come to mind as she, slips into obscurity as she becomes a new Princess Michael of Kent, also known as the laughing stock of Windsor. I hope she will remember how she glared at Princess Meghan while at a funeral of all places. I hope that will come to mind again and again, and we'll try not to laugh too hard. Okay. That's all I have to say about it. I just want to make sure that I'm clear. I just want to make sure I'm clear about that, because karma is a terrible thing. The bigger they are, the harder the glare. Remember that. The bigger they are, the harder the glare. So, all right, you guys, I'm done with my shade. All the messiness and shady is gone, and I am ready to go. All right, you guys, thank you so much. And also, again, thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Love you all. And it is time to ginger. Oh, wait a minute. I can't forget our queens, our queen of heart and our queen of everything. All right, now it is time for Ginger Avenger.
Prince Harry is a young man who has grown up not just with good looks and also royal privileges. It would have been easy for him to choose a life of ease and leisure. Instead, he chose a more difficult path. And by so doing, he has become an example to millions of others. It is a path that fully embraces the noblest traditions of service to his country and to his fellow human beings. On the one hand, Prince Harry has bravely followed the tradition of generations of British royals before him by serving his country in the military. He has been an Army officer in the British Army since 2006 and deployed with the Household Cavalry Regiment Battle Group to Helmand Province in 2008. During his time there, he served in the front lines, directing British and American aircraft onto enemy targets. He has shown that he knows what it means to lead by example, even when it means possibly paying the ultimate price.
I stopped dreaming, and God's dreams were much bigger than mine. And I found myself at a place where everything that I had dreamed had come true. So now the things that are happening are far beyond anything I could have imagined. You know, I never knew I would know a prince and a princess. That wasn't even what that was about. What I was reaching out to her for was because they were giving her hell. And a lot of it was because she was a black woman.
Absolutely.
And I flat out, no denying it, I completely knew that, and I wanted to reach out and let her know that there was somebody there for her. And I sent her a note, and not expecting anything to come of it. And she said, thank you so much. And that was it. And a couple of years later, we started talking, and she was able to talk. And the only reason I'm sharing this is because she shared it first.
Okay. Yeah.
And we were able to talk, and she was telling me some of the things that were going on. And I'm just so proud of where they are now, because I'm going to tell you something. Those two people love each other. I don't care what anybody says, I'm seeing it up close, and you can't fool me.
Yeah.
I got the Holy Ghost. Okay. You can't fool me. I know what's real. They really genuinely love each other. So I'm just so happy to see where they are now.
Markle makes me feel so like violently American. Anything else, I'm just like, yeah, this country is a hellscape. But like, let me read a nasty tabloid about her, or a mean-spirited Facebook comment about her, and all of a sudden I'm just like, fucking saddle up my bald eagle, we ride at dawn, and I don't care who needs to go down. we go and take down everyone we need to until we make her the next queen of the United Kingdom. All the meanwhile playing Born in the USA while I do it the whole goddamn time.
Reached out to her and said, come, you can live in my home.
In my house.
Yeah, it was a very difficult time for them. And what I know about the two of them, and I wish the world knew how much they love these two people love each other. They found each other out of all these odds against them finding each other, they found each other. And the love that they have is really, really moving. And I just wanted to do anything I could to support them.
Isn't that funny? Sometimes when you meet someone,
Yeah.
Sometimes you can see like what love is and you can tell right away.
Yeah, yeah. And if I don't have that, what she and Harry have, I don't want it. That's really amazing.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is incredible.
Yeah.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
How are you, dear?
Nice to meet you. What's your name?
Dorothy Parker.
Dorothy Parker. What a pleasure to meet you. My goodness, are you warm enough out here?
I am.
Oh, good.
She's been here since 9:15.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Are you from here? Were you born and raised here?
Do you live here? I live in Hoylake, which is about 6 miles away.
That's not too far.
No,
And what do you have planned for the rest of the day today?
just thinking about the honour of meeting you.
Thank you so much. That is the kindest thing. Thank you. It's a real honor to meet you as well. Thank you. You're so kind. Thank you so much. Well, Happy New Year. And thank you.
Okay, you guys, I just felt like throwing a couple of throwback videos in there. I forgot my microphone was on. I'm sitting here munching and stuff. I hope you guys didn't hear me. But anyway, next time they say the Sussexes are too in love or too happy or whatever the case that they're trying to build, whatever they're trying to build, it's better than the alternative. And that's, of course, being one of those unhappy, spiteful people in that family. And if I ever see anybody looking at our Duchess like that again, I am going to call the
police! Police!